Welcome back, and thank you for being here with me today. This video is different. This isn't just another story you scroll past. This is a moment of genuine connection, a chance to pause and understand what it truly means to rebuild yourself from the pieces of betrayal. This is my journey. This is the story of how my heart shattered and how I learned that silence can be louder than any scream. So take a breath with me, get comfortable, and let me share something deeply personal. My name is Isabella, and this changed everything about me. 3 years ago, I had constructed what I thought was my perfect life. I was working as a marketing manager at a prestigious firm, living in a beautiful apartment overlooking the city, and I was deeply in love with someone I believed was my person. His name was Marcus. We had been together for 4 years, and I trusted him with my entire heart. We had plans. We talked about marriage, about children, about building a future together. I thought I knew what forever felt like. But then one evening, everything I believed in came crashing down in the most unexpected way. I decided to surprise him that night. I left work early, grabbed flowers and his favorite dinner from that Italian restaurant he loves so much, and I drove to his apartment with butterflies in my stomach, genuinely excited to see his face. When I got there, the door wasn't completely closed. I heard music playing, soft jazz, the same music he used to play for me. And then I heard it. Laughter. A woman's laughter. Not just any laughter. It was my best friend's laughter. My best friend of 7 years, the person who knew every secret, every dream, every vulnerable moment of my life, the one person I told everything to. I froze right there in the hallway. My flowers dropped to the floor, and I just stood there, completely still, trying to process what was happening. When I walked in, I saw them together on his couch. I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I didn't throw things or demand explanations. I simply looked at them both, turned around, and walked out without saying a single word. That silence in that moment became the most powerful thing I've ever done. The days that followed were absolutely suffocating. I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I would lie awake at 3 a.m, staring at the ceiling, replaying moments in my head, wondering how long this had been going on, wondering what I had missed, wondering what was wrong with me that made them choose each other over our friendship and our relationship. Every time my phone lit up, my heart would jump. I'd see them posting happy pictures online, living their lives like nothing had happened, like they hadn't just destroyed someone who loved them both. And I remember thinking, sitting alone in my apartment at midnight, that I had 2 choices. I could spend the rest of my life hating them, obsessing over them, trying to make them feel even a fraction of the pain I was feeling. Or I could do something completely different. I could rebuild myself so completely that they would become irrelevant to my story. So I made a decision that would change my entire trajectory. I realized that the best way to move forward wasn't through revenge that would hurt them. It was through becoming so undeniably successful that my very existence would be my response. That night, I looked at myself in the mirror and made a promise. I promised myself that I wouldn't waste a single moment on anger. Instead, I would channel everything into becoming the best version of myself. While they were going to parties and posting their pictures online, I was going to be building something they could never touch. I was going to become unstoppable. The transformation started immediately. I woke up at 5 a.m. every single day. I started running 8 kilometers before breakfast. I enrolled in online courses about entrepreneurship, digital marketing, and business development. I read everything I could get my hands on. Books about psychology, about building confidence, about success. Every tear I cried became fuel. Every painful memory became motivation. Every night I felt like giving up, I remembered their faces, and I kept going. But here's the thing that made it different this time. I didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't post inspirational quotes on social media. I didn't announce my plans. I didn't need validation from people watching. I needed results. So I worked in silence. That silence became my superpower. 18 months into my transformation, something shifted. I wasn't the same person anymore. I had launched my own digital marketing agency from my small apartment. It started with 1 client, then 2, then 10. 6 months after that, I had hired my first employee. My business was growing, and I was genuinely happy for the first time since that awful night. I wasn't happy because I was getting revenge. I was happy because I was finally building something that was entirely mine. Then one day, I received an invitation to a major networking event for young entrepreneurs. When I walked into that ballroom, I didn't recognize myself in the mirror they had set up near the entrance. I was different. Not just physically, though I had lost weight and gained confidence in the way I carried myself. I was different in my energy. I was powerful. And then I saw them. Marcus was standing near the refreshment table. My former best friend, whose name was Sophia, was beside him. When they saw me, their faces completely transformed. Marcus's expression changed from confident to shocked. Sophia's eyes went wide. I could see the exact moment they realized that the girl they had betrayed was no longer struggling. She was thriving. I walked past them with my head held high. I didn't acknowledge them. I didn't need to. But what happened next was something I didn't expect. Sophia approached me later that evening. She looked nervous, uncomfortable, desperate even. She tried to start a conversation, tried to explain herself, tried to justify what she had done, and I listened, not because I had forgiven her, but because I needed to understand if I still felt something. And I discovered something profound. I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no desire for revenge, just a complete and utter absence of emotion. She was a stranger to me now, and in that moment, I understood what true power really is. It's not about making someone feel the pain they caused you. It's about reaching a point where they simply don't matter anymore. It's about being so focused on your own growth that their existence becomes irrelevant. That's when I truly realized that the revenge I had been unconsciously seeking wasn't the kind that comes from destruction. It was the kind that comes from evolution. It was proving to myself that I was capable of so much more than I ever believed. Over the next few months, I learned more about what had happened between them. Their relationship fell apart within 6 months. Marcus made poor business decisions and lost his job. Sophia had some personal struggles that I heard about through mutual acquaintances, and I felt nothing. Not happiness, not satisfaction, not even the slightest sense of vindication. Life had its own way of balancing things out. The universe didn't need my help. While they were dealing with their own consequences, I was building an empire. My business expanded to 3 cities. I hired more people. I traveled internationally. I spoke at conferences. I made more money than I ever thought possible. But the material success was actually the least important part of my transformation. The most important part was discovering who I was when no one was watching, when there was nothing to gain, when I was simply working for myself and no one else. A year after that event, I met someone completely different. His name was Adrian. He wasn't flashy or dramatic. He didn't come into my life like a hurricane. He came in like calm weather after a storm. He listened more than he talked. He was honest even when it was difficult. And most importantly, he saw me, really saw me, and appreciated me, not for what I had built, but for who I had become. Being with him taught me something crucial. When you heal properly, you choose differently. When you respect yourself, you attract people who respect you. My journey through pain and silence had given me the strength to recognize a good thing when I saw it. One day, about 2 years later, I ran into both of them at the same time. We were at a coffee shop and we literally walked past each other. There was this moment where everything was quiet. They looked at me and I could see something in their eyes that wasn't there before. Not desire, not regret, but acceptance. They understood finally that some people come into your life to transform you and then they leave. Some relationships are meant to teach you something about yourself, even if the lesson comes through heartbreak. I smiled at them. Not a smile of forgiveness, but a smile of acknowledgement. We were all different people now. We had all been shaped by that one night in different ways. And that was okay. If someone asks me today if I got my revenge, I tell them the truth. I never tried to hurt them. I never spoke badly about them to anyone. I never sought to destroy their lives or their relationships. Instead, I did something far more powerful. I became someone who no longer needed revenge. I became someone who could remember the pain without feeling it anymore. I could see their faces in a crowd and feel nothing but a gentle curiosity about where life had taken them. I had transcended the situation completely. The silence that followed in my leaving that apartment became the foundation of everything I built afterward. It wasn't weakness that kept me quiet. It was strategy. It was power. It was the beginning of understanding that the most profound victories are the ones nobody sees until they look back and realize how far you've come. So if you're watching this right now and you're in pain because someone you trusted broke that trust, I want you to hear me when I say this. Don't waste your energy trying to hurt them. Don't spend your nights thinking about how you can make them regret what they did. Instead, invest that energy into becoming so successful, so confident, so genuinely happy that their absence becomes irrelevant. Build a life that's so incredible that you don't need them to understand what you've achieved. Success is the most beautiful and powerful form of moving forward. Not because it hurts them, but because it heals you. The best revenge isn't that they feel your pain. The best revenge is that you stop feeling it. And that, my friends, is something no one can ever take away from you.